We've got another amazing matchup between these AFC East rivals as Mac Jones and the New England Patriots fly into New York to play Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. And Ryan, it's week 3. We've been able to see both of these teams now. And it's been Zach Wilson's team. It's essentially the same team as last year. I'll kind of just throw it over to you immediately as the Patriots fan. What do you feel the Patriots have to do to win this game here in New York against a quarterback that is shaky at best?
Well, I think there's two things. One, I think this offensive line needs to look competent. They looked semi-competent against Philadelphia, and then they just looked absolutely atrocious against the Dolphins in week 2. And they need to get back to and better than how they looked in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles, because this pass rush is as good, if not better, than what the Eagles were bringing in week 1, because the Eagles, they might have more talent, but the Jets have very good talent, and they actually run a more complex blitzing system, whereas the Eagles, they just kind of beat you man for man. And so that's going to put more stress on this offensive line. Then also they need to get after Zach Wilson and not let him sit back in the pocket, because we saw even Zach Wilson actually has improved. That's not saying a whole lot, but he actually made some decent throws against the Cowboys, and they all came in the pocket. And when they were able to keep the pocket clean, we saw, like, at the end of the game, once when he started scrambling to extend plays is when he threw the really bad interception to Trayvon Diggs. And so for me, I think that's kind of what the Patriots have to do to come in and win this game. This is a must-win for the Patriots. If the Patriots want any semblance of a chance to make the playoffs, they have to win this game. And then if the Jets, get after Mac Jones, this offensive line looks very vulnerable, and keep Zach Wilson upright is kind of their key to win, because he was able to make some throws last week against the Cowboys when they were able to keep him upright. So it's going to be interesting to me to kind of watch these two teams battle it out for last place in the division. So yeah, that's kind of, I think, what they have to do. What about you? What do you think?
So for the Patriots, it's going to have to be just absolutely dismantle Zach Wilson and that offensive line. Actually, really, you don't to dismantle Zach Wilson and really just any other quarterback. You got to be able to beat this offensive line, and that's not too difficult. I would think that Matt Judon and company would be able to provide a lot of pressure. I would think Belichick would be able to scheme up some good key blitzes. I think it's going to be fun to see Christian Gonzalez go up against Garrett Wilson. I think that'll be a fun matchup. That one, I think Gonzalez can hold his own in for sure. And then for the Jets is, I think that's a fair point, is if you're able to keep a clean pocket, Wilson is able to most of the time make the right decision, get the ball out, and move. But it's going to come down then to the offensive line. That, honestly, to me, is going to be the X factor. It's just going to be the New York Jets offensive line. I personally don't think that New England's going to be able to move the ball that well against this New York Jets defense. If they still have rookie guards or backup guards in the interior.
Both of their starting guards were back last week. They just, I don't know what Miami was doing. They just could not figure out their assignments.
Well, and how I look at it is I would think the Jets defensive line was significantly better than Miami, and they really struggled with Miami. And on top
Jalen
of that,
Phillips was out there. That's not even like Jalen Phillips was on.
Well, and so I feel then when you have Adon Sauce Gardner and then DJ Reader, I believe it's DJ Reader, whoever had the 3 interception game against Josh Allen, but their secondary also as a whole, I feel, is significantly better than Miami.
Jordan Whitehead.
That's it. Sorry. But I think the Jets defense as a whole will be able to stymie Mac Jones and New England much more. And it's and I'm sorry, but it's like Kendrick Bourne, you guys number 1, Devontae Parker's number 2. You do have Juju Smith-Schuster in there as well, but those just are not lethal guys. And I think I think the secondary of New York is going to be it's just going to be able to lock them down. So we'll have to see how they do against Breece Hall. Okay, go ahead.
I think that the Jets defense poses a bigger threat, However, they do throw in some more complex blitz schemes, but I do think that the Jets, New England was able to find some offensive success against them last year between the 30s. It was just like once when they got into the red zone, things got tight. They really couldn't do much. And granted, New England hasn't been great getting to the red zone this year, but they've been much more efficient in shorter areas when they've had the opportunity. So for me, I think that's an interesting battle there. Like, how does Bill O'Brien approach that? And then also, one of the things that Bill O'Brien did was he's been calling plays to favor this offensive line. Like Mac Jones, I think, is third in the league in release time from snap. I think he's at like 2.26 seconds. Fun fact, I think Tua leads the league right now, and he's averaging throwing the ball in less than 2 seconds after he snaps it.
I believe that 100%. Oh, yeah.
Which is just insane. Like, you couldn't line up and run there that fast.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's going to be interesting. I do think that this Patriots defense is going to throw the kitchen sink at Zach Wilson. And I think Zach Wilson's going to have another multi-interception day. Because this is what happened a couple years ago when they were Mac Jones and Zach Wilson were rookies. Was basically the Patriots just confused Zach Wilson, and then I think he had 3 or 4 turnovers in one game. So
yeah. Oh no, I mean that's very possible. And so I still feel I think one of the things that's going to play a factor into this is just the fact and that I think the Jets could do everything they can to just get the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands as quickly as possible, whether it be a handoff or just screen passes or look for Garrett Wilson. I'm curious to kind of see his overall improvement and development, especially then also if Aaron Rodgers is still in his ear as well, just kind of mentoring him. I feel New England is still struggling a little bit. I'm going to go actually with the home team here with the New York Jets. This could honestly go either way. This is a big game for both teams, especially New England, who's 0-2. But I just Mac Jones looks extremely impressive, and yet the offensive team members around him are just he doesn't have good receivers. Honestly, Hunter Henry might be like pound for pound, like might be the best option that they have. They just have always had a good kind of target. But if you're relying on Kendrick Bourne, Juju in this offensive system, I just don't like the options going up against this defense.
So I would say the Patriots' 3 best offensive players right now. I know Mike Gesicki hasn't really turned it on yet, but Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, and Ramondre Stevenson are their 3 best players on the offensive side of the ball. Their receivers are abysmal, and they need to take serious steps this offseason to address it. I do think this offensive line will slowly start to turn things around. Just because they have good players there, they've invested in it, and then they went and invested in Adrian Clem. I just think their 2 starting guards have been injured all of the offseason, so they're just kind of going through the preseason growing pains now. I do think the Patriots end up pulling this out. I think they'll be able to scheme up a couple ways to get some scores in this game. I also think there will probably be a defensive score by the Patriots as well. I know that's a little bit of a bolder prediction. But I just think Zach Wilson's going to turn the ball over, and they'll have multiple opportunities at it. And so I'm going to go with New England in this one. Zach Wilson, I think, is averaging over 2 interceptions a game when he plays Bill Belichick, and I just don't see that changing. So
no, that's fair, and that's fair. Mm-hmm. I just feel like this Jets defense, that's going to be the only way they win. I think that they're just going to lock them down. And honestly, then too, you go look at the Cowboys game. It was 30-10, but it actually was significantly close. They did only have the one big play with Garrett Wilson, but they were able to kind of slow down that Cowboys offense as much as they really could. And I think
they still were a little weak in I think the intermediate passing game.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's a big difference between CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert against Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne.
Oh yeah.
Anyone else. And so that's a very big difference. But I do think if there is a thing that New England is good at on offense, probably that 10-yard passing game is what New England is successful with. And I think that is kind of what the Jets were giving up to Dallas.
Yeah.
So I think they'll find some success there. I also think they're going to try to implement some more hard play action plays into the mix to stymie this pass rush a little bit. So we've talked a lot about this game. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win this game. Is it going to be the New England Patriots or the New York Jets? Let us know what you think. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.